Hey everybody, how's it going? Dan Shinder here, live on Drum Talk TV, unless you're watching on the archive, and I'm coming to you from Globe, Arizona, 100 miles east of Phoenix, up in the mountains where it's a little cooler, a lot more chill. And our guest today is Sheila Klotz, coming to us from Southern Maryland, and she's the 2020 Hit Like a Girl contest winner for the 40 and over category. Hi Sheila, how are you?
I'm good. How are you this afternoon?
I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for joining us. And folks, we're going to have all the winners on over the next few weeks. Sheila's the first. We're really excited about that. And my first question is, why did you join the Hit Like a Girl contest? What inspired you to enter?
Well, it would be who inspired me to enter, and that's
Okay.
Mindy Abowitz Monk from Tom Tom Magazine was doing an article on female military drummers back in 2015, and she said, Sheila, you should really try this Hit Like a Girl contest. So put together a video and entered it, and I didn't do very well, but so as soon as I retired, I thought, gee, I think I might like to try that again. So I saw the advertisement come out here again in November, December, and decided I'm going to work for the next 4 months and I'm going to send a video in, just give it another shot. So,
Oh, that's great. And folks, I have the show up on a monitor here so I can see comments. So if you want to give shout outs or if you have any questions for Sheila, I'll be checking that from time to time, and let us know where you're watching from. So very cool. I want to give everybody a taste of your playing. This is not Sheila's winning entry because I want you to go to the Hit Like a Girl channel on YouTube and
yeah.
check that out. Or you can go to Hit Like a Girl. I think it's hitlikeagirl.com, I believe. Sorry that I don't know that off the top of my head, but just Google Hit Like a Girl 2020 and you'll find it, or search that on YouTube. But here's another video that Sheila sent us that, let's just say, it's a little funky. Check this out. I love this video. And we'll be right back. I love this. It's so solid. Tell us about the piece.
I was at my sister's house. She lives in Annapolis. And we were up late one night watching about a month and a half ago, watching a movie. And we decided to rent Car Wash, the movie Car Wash, because we wanted a good laugh. And right at the preacher scene, when the preacher came in, I can't remember his name, the comedian, and the Pointer Sisters were in there, and they started singing that song, and I went, "Oh my gosh!" I looked it up, went right to iTunes, bought the song, and I said, "I gotta play drums to that song. I have to think of what I can do to kick that into a funk feel." Well, it already was a funk feel. I just wanted to put my own twist on it. But
That's
that
cool.
night, it was great. I loved it.
Oh, very cool. And we've got some hellos from Mary Beth, Brian Shelton, Gabrielle, Maestro Henry. Now, wait a minute here. Mary Beth says, happy birthday from North Carolina. It's not my birthday. My birthday is April 2nd. When's your birthday?
Today.
It's today?
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Either I didn't remember that or didn't know. Did you tell me that? Oh, how funny. We just happened to schedule this on your birthday. That's awesome. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Everybody's singing happy birthday to Sheila. So, who are some of your biggest influences? And then we'll talk about your experience of playing in the Air Force Band and then the National Guard. And thank you for serving, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure. When did you start playing, and what inspired you to play drums, and who were some of your first and biggest influences?
Who inspired me? My sisters, Mary Beth. Someone brought home an announcement, it might have been her, to the local majorette and drum corps. And I have 5 sisters.
Oh, wow.
And yes, they all went to the majorettes, and I walked into the drum room. I don't know why, I just said I want to play drums, and I was 10. So John Bosworth taught me rudiments by rote. I didn't learn how to read music. He was all by rote.
Oh, really?
And yes, I kind of taught myself how to read music in high school, and then I went to college, and I actually learned what I was doing. But of influences, I first got my drum set when I was about 12, and some of the drumline guys from the Major and Drum Corps came over, and they showed me how to set it up. It was a little 3-piece Lido Supreme, from Texaco or something. I don't know where my dad got it, but he showed me how to set it up. I said, well, what do I play? What do I practice? He said, go buy Rush. Every Rush album you can find.
Really?
And you can play Rush, you can play anything. So
Are they, like, what kind of music are they? Are they any good?
Rush?
I'm kidding. Well, so what was the first Rush album that you bought and started playing to?
I think it was the Exit. No, wait. I just bought what was out. So I bought Spirit of the Radio. I bought 2112. I bought the one with Tom Sawyer. I can't remember that one.
So the first one was Permanent Waves. Moving Pictures has Tom Sawyer. And
that's it.
2112, great.
2112 is the live thing, right? Yeah.
Well, 2112 is the name of an album. Their first live album was called All the World's a Stage.
That's it.
Okay,
so the big 4 were already out, so I bought those and started digging right in until I could do them.
Awesome. That's cool. I remember the first time I heard Rush. I am quite a bit older than you, I think, and I was 12. I was 13, I think. I was 13, and a friend of mine brought over 2112, and I had never heard of Rush. I was like, what the hell is this? And whenever, I don't know why, whenever I bought albums of bands throughout my whole life, I've always bought the live album first. And at that time, the tour for 2112 ended up being the live album, All the World's a Stage. And so that was my first Rush album. And I always did that to be able to get to know a band's music in the raw form. And I love the energy of live music. So I got that first before I went and got 2112. So I was discombobulated because, songs sound different when they're live. And 2112 being such a long piece with different movements, not all the movements were on that live version. And so it was interesting. But that's a good place to start as a drummer. It's a tall order, and if you don't know any different, it doesn't matter. Like I know guys and girls that started listening to stuff that Vinnie Colaiuta played on, Steve Gadd, Sheila E., all these great drummers that if you're starting out, a normal person would say, well, I'm going to start out with something kind of basic. But if you're oblivious to any context of the complexities of someone's playing, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and that's what Rush spoiled me, because every time I heard another drummer after that, I'd go, because all of my drum set comparison was Neil Peart, whatever it is, was him. And I thought, I enjoyed Heart, I enjoyed Styx, I enjoyed Boston, all those groups, but I always loved the complexity of studying odd times, and he did some clever time signature things and polyrhythms. I studied a lot of that through him, not knowing what it was at the time, just trying to imitate it.
Do you have a favorite Rush song to play? You pick one. Got one. You get one. Okay, your birthday, you get 2.
I would say Red Barchetta for the groove. I love the groove.
That's a great one. Okay.
And I love the one with the Natural Science. I love Natural Science.
One of my favorites to play as well. Both of those are, I think, my very favorite Rush song to play, or at least the one I play most often, so I guess it's one of my favorites, is Middletown Dreams from Power Windows.
I don't
It's,
have that.
yeah, oh, look up Middletown Dreams. It
I
starts
got
out with paradiddles on the. Yeah, oh, that's such a great song. I love that song. But yeah,
it.
Natural Science is great. I remember on Moving Pictures, learning the camera eye. You know, because I got those albums as they came out. Starting with Hemispheres. That's when I really got into them, and that was my first tour that I saw was Hemispheres. And La Villa Strangiato, my band had to learn that as soon as it came out. That was like, again, just not knowing any better. Hey, you guys want to learn La Villa Strangiato? Sure, let's go for it. You know, I didn't know any better. So,
That's great.
uh,
That's great.
what got you into funk, and whose music do you admire that's from that genre? Because that's not Rush.
Oh, well, remember that's some years ago. You know how you just keep learning. You gotta just
Yes.
keep. I did the funk tune on a Hit Like a Girl
Right.
this year's contest, but I knew that I really didn't do it much justice, you know, because it was a fast funk. It was busy, and I know funk is deep and wide, like the Atlantic Ocean. It's deep and wide, you
Yeah,
know.
there's space.
Right, right. It's not about busyness. It's about space. Yeah, I can't. You just said it, but and I did. Once I heard the song on the movie, I knew that was the one that would get me more into the feel of funk, and less is best. And just, can I do a pocket on this song? No chills, no frills, no chop, no over the top, no crash, no smash. Can I just groove this thing? And I think I did a little bit more than I should have, but I just
No, it's
want.
great. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, and the sound of the room is perfect for that. It's just this big fat sound, and it's
Yeah.
the reverberation and the resonance of the drums that fills that space, rather than extra hits that just don't need to be there. It's really good. So when you started playing in the Air Force Band, what sort of adjustment was that? Did you go to playing just snare drum, or were you playing swing and big band stuff on a drum set?
No, I was in the ceremonial band, so we were doing parades and ceremony. I was all rudimental: parades, ceremonies, retirements, Pentagon, White House, all over DC.
Wow.
Just concerts and ceremonies. That's all the military career was. It was not drum set. Drum set was at home on my own, and with a few little small local bands once in a while, because the military does take up all your time. So,
Yeah. So
and
for the youngsters that are thinking of maybe joining marching band at school, when they can do that again, or joining something like an outside program that is drumline or marching band, or going into the military, can you please share, I think this is really important, please share some of the epiphanies you had when you switched from drum set and learning Rush, falling in love with popular music, going into the military band, and how what epiphanies you had that helped you apply those new skills back to the drum set.
I like that. And I like the way you phrased that question. That's pretty deep. Remember, I started rudimental.
Yeah.
Drum set was never a gift. I had to work on it. And I never was in a band that played a great deal. I was always just rudiments, concerts, parades, and all that. So my love, like, drum set's not my gift. It's my love, but it's not my gift. So I love it. So I work at it. It started when I met Ronnie Shaw in the Air Force Band. And he came from the Academy Band, the Air Force Academy Band, to us.
Okay.
And I heard him playing, and I was 20 years old, and I was hearing this guy doing things on the drum set. I heard in Rush, but I never was able to see it live.
Oh.
Just using inversions, retro. He was throwing so much poop on the drum. I stood in the room and just stared at him. Just, what are you doing? And he came up and met me, shook my hand. And, who are you? Oh, I'm Sheila. I'm in the ceremonial unit. And I know he was in the pop band, obviously. And he said, I heard you could really throw down on rudiments. Girl, let's go. So he started teaching me at his house for, I think, the first year with kick, snare, and hat. The kick, snare, and hi-hat. That was it for about a year. And he took me through, oh, goodness gracious, a syncopation book.
Uh-huh.
And was showing me, how to use the syncopation book with those four limbs, to get that coordination going.
Right.
And he said, it's great you can play Rush, but you're imitating. Let me hear you play. And 6 months in, let me hear you play Rosanna. So I played what I thought was Rosanna. And he's such a positive person. He's over there laughing like this. He goes, that's awesome. But that's not it. So I was doing Swiss Armies and double paradiddles, and he slowed me down and showed me what it was. So all of my technical skills on drum set and what made me explore it was the transfer of Ronnie Shaw to DC, because that's the man that opened up my mind to what you can do on the drum set as a rudimental drummer. It was him who showed me, like you said, epiphany. Hey, take the paradiddles and put them like this. And I went, I never knew that. Oh, take the flam accents and put them this way. And it was Ronnie who there's the first epiphany that I had. And the second, I guess, epiphany is when I went from the Air Force band to the National Guard band. Now I lost a lot of time on the drums because I became a commander. I had to learn how to conduct. So it's not about being proficient on the rudiments of the drum set. Now I had to know trumpet and sax and flute and tuba and tell them when they're out of tune and tell them what to do to fix it, which I couldn't do. I relied on them, and I balanced sound. And so the National Guard time, all I could do drum set was at home. That was it, just at home. And so that was it. Then when I retired, I jumped right back on that drum set again. And that's where I've been for 5 years, sitting on that kit, anywhere from an hour and a half a day to 6 hours a day.
Wow, that's great. I really am working so hard to get back to making time to work on my playing. I don't make time to do that these days.
What you're doing,
what's that?
What you're doing, though, for drummers, it's amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. And not the only time I get to play, but the main time I get to play is when I do my Dan's Almost Daily Vlog, which is a show I try to do 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending on the week, live on the Drum Talk TV Facebook page. But I don't spend time working on anything, and that's what I really want to get back to. It's just been difficult for me to make time to do that. And sometimes I'll sit down and play during the vlog, and it's just crap because I didn't make time to warm up, and I haven't played maybe in 4 or 5 days. And then other times it's like magic. I sit down and anything I think of, it just, the muscle memory's there and all this. So it's sort of hit and miss with myself, and that's what makes me want to make more time to work on my playing. So I admire drummers who can spend that kind of time. Sometimes at the end of the day, end of the night, it's 11 at night, it's midnight, and I'll say to my wife, I think I feel like playing. She'll say, so go play. And in the middle of the night, I'm playing for like an hour or so to sort of just blow all the carbon out of the pipes, and clean everything out. So, folks, practice as much as you can. And you mentioned, Sheila, when the gentleman said that's imitating. And to me, there's sort of this argument I've heard, which to me is ridiculous. And I'm not saying this was his point of view, but I've heard drummers say if all you do is emulate other drummers, you'll never build your own style. And I totally disagree, because I think the better you emulate different drummers, the more tools that gives you in your toolbox to form your own style. That's what I've always thought. And while someone could argue, if they're familiar with what I play, and a lot of people watch the show, they're familiar with my sort of narrow channel. I play a lot of classic progressive rock, yes, Genesis, ELP, stuff like that, and then I'll play Zeppelin, Deep Purple, and then it stretches outside a little bit, and then some big band, they'll say, but everything you do is in here. Yeah, but if you compare Neil Peart to Carl Palmer to Alan White to John Bonham and Ian Pace, there's a lot of different languages, dialects, and tools there, and I pull from those. And that's what my thing is just find a bunch of drummers and music you love and pull from those different palettes of colors, if you will. What do you think about that? Like you play funk, and I'd never know from watching that you were into Rush. And if I watched you play a Rush song, I'd probably never pick up on your funk skills, because you've been able to do just that, I think.
5 years of practice, yeah. I have to agree with you, because when Wecco came out, I was listening to him and grabbing some of his vocabulary on the drums. And
right.
of course, Frank Zappa, someone got me into the Black Page prior.
That's a good place to start.
Hey, I can't play it. Don't even think. I was listening, going, my gosh, that man's crazy. And I just listened to it. I never even attempted it. So understand that, never.
Yeah.
But then that did turn me on to Vinny Colaiuta. And I love the cleverness of those two because they were the first drummers that I heard that I can recall, let me just qualify that were doing these strange things like Neil Peart was doing. So I was really attracted to the difficulty of it.
Yeah.
And can I extract that? So I agree with you. I extracted from things from each of them and drummers in between and drummers today that I put in my quiver, and I'll just, like you said, I work it into something I can do well.
Yeah.
And I'm Madame McHugh here, and then I'm going to do those tap paradiddle thing that I heard Weckl do, and you create, you're right, I'm going to have to agree with you. You borrow and then you finesse it, you make it your own.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us about the drum camp that you have with the kids, and recently you had an event. And tell us a little bit about it, and then I'm going to share a clip from kind of like the culmination of this year's camp.
Yeah. Well, the COVID really taking the kids out of school. Maryland was smart. And the Governor Hogan was the first one to collapse the wall. Just said close in, and he shut us down quickly. Which we didn't like it. I'm not going to lie. We hated being closed in. He imposed probably some of the strictest guidelines for COVID. And even though we hated it then, we see the benefits now because we're allowed to come out of this and with minimal damage because he was so quick. So I give him credit. But the bad news was the students were losing, I feel sorry for the kids the most because they're losing so much interaction.
Yeah, that's important.
I read I was supposed to have a drum set camp this summer through a small Christian school I work, but no. And then I read the guidelines, it's federal, the state, and the local, and my husband works for the sheriff's office, so I made sure I was in line with the spacing. We had a smaller camp.
That's good, because you don't want your husband to be the one to haul you in.
So we maxed it at 8 students so that we could maintain at least 6 feet apart, both this way and depth-wise.
Right.
And, like I said, limited the enrollment, and these kids and the parents, we wore masks most of the time. I said, when you're outside, breathe in the good air, take the mask off, get those vitamins in from the air, come back in. We did everything we could to control it and to keep it within state, federal, and local guidelines. And I think we did good.
Let's show everybody a clip real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then I'll ask you a couple questions about the piece that they're playing. First, what's the age range of these youngsters?
11 years old to 16.
11 to 16. Cool. Here we go. This is the drum set camp solo, the culmination. Here we go. Check these kids out.
A 1, a 2, you know what to do.
They were great. I just love watching kids play. What was cool, I think my favorite part of that is that there's syncopation in there, and they're all, together. Did you write that piece out for them?
The middle section is mine. The intro is from Late in the Evening. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so we started it, a variation on the Late in the Evening front. Okay, so yeah, I did a little variation, put it on the side of the rim, and then moved it to the ride. The ending is, I learned at West Virginia University, a guy named Randy Sanderbeck wrote that metric modulation all the way to the end was something from Randy. But the middle is what I did, the cross-sticking and the, syncopation and the stuff that looks cool and is fun to play. I inserted that part, so.
That's very cool. What advice, if you're drawing from your experience, and I'll read comments and questions in a moment, folks. I see them.
Okay.
What advice do you have from your experience for other drum and music teachers of all kinds as far as working with kids? What's some of the things you've done, you've implemented that you have found to be successful?
I think they want to be pushed. I tell them I'm going to push you hard, but I'll praise you hard. I am hard on them, but when they get it, I'm their greatest fan, and I'm jumping up all over the place. And so I do push, and they all admit that, yes, you push, but when we get it, it's a victory lap. I mean, if I could, I'd pick them up and twirl them around and throw them into the fan and all that other stuff. But I just think they should strive for perfection. Don't let good enough be good enough. Good enough is not good enough. If you want to make it, you have to strive to be perfect, and in everything. That's what I would tell other teachers. Go ahead and push them a little bit, and tell them you're going to push them. Tell them right up front. And I told this in the camp, I don't do mediocre. You didn't come here for mediocre. You came here to be great. You came here to get pushed. If you need a break, go get some water. I understand. But whatever you do, don't quit on me. Don't quit. You'll get it. And I'm a big proponency in push. Don't give up. Don't quit. Keep at it.
That's great. Since you're a Rush fan, I'll share a quick story with you and everybody. Then I'll read some comments and questions. I was pretty close friends with the late, great Don George, who passed away in December, I believe it was, 2 weeks apart from Neil Peart. And he was Neil Peart's first drum teacher. And in the first year of Drum Talk TV, I spent some time in Canada with Don, and we did an interview in front of a live audience, and he did like a clinic and interview, and his secret was cookies. And I said, what do you mean? And whenever a student was having a hard time and got frustrated, he'd pull them off the kit, and they would sit, and he'd pull out this plate of cookies, and he said, why don't you have a cookie and let's just talk about it? And Don was so soft-spoken. He was like my long-lost cool uncle. Not that my real uncles weren't cool. I had a couple of really cool uncles. But he was like that kind of guy. I could just totally see him doing this with his students, So everyone's sort of got their own approach to doing things. And when you find something that works, I think it's important to share it with other music instructors. So.
Yeah, and I think I am a big proponent. If you don't like my teaching style, you don't have to. Go find someone who you can grab from. My way might not be the best way for you, and I'm totally good with that. That's okay, Some teacher's going to teach you something. Every teacher has something to show you if you're willing.
Absolutely. I'm going to read some comments, and I saw a question. Mike Skinner, who I know is in Wales, says, Dan, the Tarkus session the other night was pretty sick. I played Tarkus by ELP the other night. Thanks, Mike. I wasn't sure how that came off. John Kinsting asks, Sheila, are you a fan of David Garibaldi and Clyde Stubblefield?
I'm not. I know them, but no, I never dove into their music
I know why he's asking, and it's because of the funk video.
Yeah, Garibaldi, Tower of Power, right?
Yeah.
What is it? Digging on James Brown. I love that.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people are saying happy birthday, Sheila.
Thank
From
you.
Pennsylvania. Um, everyone, a lot of happy birthdays. Yeah, again, more North Carolina. Mike Skinner says there's nothing better than seeing something click with the kids and the feeling they convey when they have achieved the next goal. That's very true. And Melissa Comier or Comier, I'm not sure, Wiley says thank you for teaching the kids. Is that one of the parents?
It is. That's I gave all the students nickname. That's the Fly. I call him the Fly.
Oh, funny. That's great. I'm afraid to know what my nickname would be. I don't want to go there. It's a family show.
You 5 days at the camp. I had a name for you. Even
That's
one
great.
kid called no name, but when I got back, when we were done Friday, I said, "I got your name. It's Radar."
Oh,
So.
that's hilarious. So I have a question. My last question is this: when you're not teaching drums, when you're not powering through learning a new Rush song, when you're not doing anything related to music, this is the Sheila Klotz fun fact. What do you like to do? What else do you like to do aside from drumming and music?
I love to cook.
Oh, really? Have you always liked to cook?
No.
Oh,
No, as soon as I had children, I decided, you know what, I'm going to buy a cookbook. And I started just getting into cooking and experimenting with spices and flavors and the go-to meals that the kids like and all. I can't bake. Now, I'm not very good with sweets, but I love to cook.
Baking's a whole different thing. I love to cook. I actually had a cooking show on TV years ago, but no baking. It's too precise. It's too scientific. I had a co-host who was a graduate. It's funny. He was in the CIA, and then he went to CIA, the Culinary Institute of the Arts. He was a flight marshal in the CIA, retired, went to culinary school, became an amazing executive pastry chef, and he was my co-host on the show. Just way too precise for me. I'm more of a let's do some of this and change it this way. The mad scientist, no strict formula. I guess like my drumming. So I'm a huge fan of cooking as well. What's your favorite thing to make, and is it the same thing the kids like to eat, or is it different?
They let me experiment. So my favorite thing to make, I love making various fresh salads in the summer. There's a lot more selection. There's a lot more fresh. I grow my own tomatoes and cucumbers and kohlrabi. So we're digging into those right now. So
Great.
I don't think I have a favorite thing to make. I'll try anything. And like you said, first time I make it, it's by the numbers.
Yeah.
The second time I make it, it's what I like thrown in.
That's great.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's awesome. Sheila, thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations on winning the Hit Like a Girl contest for 2020, the 40-plus category. You're the first of all the young ladies that we're going to have on the show, which I'm really excited about. And happy birthday as well. Thank you again to David Levine, and thank you to William F. Ludwig III, who is the flagship sponsor. That's what the logo is there. Hey, Bill, hope you're watching. Hope all is well with you, and David, of course, and Mindy. And we'll do this again sometime.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining Sheila and myself. And stay safe out there. And if you're watching this live or today, Friday, what's the date? The 7th. I'm actually doing a live today at about 3:15 Pacific, 6:15 Eastern, and I'm celebrating 39 years ago. I broke my wrist in half, but kept playing the drums on the insistence of my mother. I'll talk about that and play some of my favorite music. I haven't even had time to think about what I'm going to play yet, so I'll take requests on that live. Tune in to the Drum Talk TV show, and thanks for following what we do. Thanks, everybody.